What's up, everybody, and welcome back to A Beer a Day with TK. It is a warm summer's day here in Findlay, Ohio, and I'm hanging out in the beer shed getting ready to check out a new beer. Now, the beer I have today is called New Zealand Pale Ale, and this is from Silversmith Brewing, and they were at Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, Canada. I think on the can it says Etobicoke, but the brewery that everybody went to when you're up there for the beer reviewers gig was listed as Niagara-on-the-Lake, and that's where they acquired it, so I'm going to go with that. Now, this is supposedly a relatively new beer. I actually didn't go to this brewery. I was having some problems when I was up there between being hungover and having bad sinus issues that seemed to show up from day to day. So some days I'm completely cool. Other days it's brutal and I can't go anywhere. So I missed this brewery, but three of my good friends went there and checked into this. So I noticed ratings-wise, this had a 3.87 on Untappd, although there was only 9 check-ins. And 3 of them were people I know. So one was a Ginger Yeti, one was Rod J from Rod J Beer Ventures, and the other was Joe from the Beer Patrol, and they all seemed to like it. So if you look at the total rating on Untappd, it shows up as 0, but it did have a 3.87 amongst the 3 people that I knew who had it, which is 33% of the check-ins. So I'll trust those dudes and think if 3.87 is what they said, it's probably a pretty reliable rating. Beer Advocate, obviously, there was nothing there. Yeah, that's it. There's nothing else really to show. 5.8% ABV. The can, pretty interesting. I think these guys missed a little bit of an opportunity. Their logo is like a stained glass window. If I'm not mistaken, I think this place was like a former church or something like that. And they have a cool S in there, which is their logo. But they could have used that 80s S. You know what I mean? The diamond thing. It would have been an awesome opportunity to use that 80s S in there for your logo. Now, it says here, fruity and crisp, IBUs 40. For our 12th anniversary, this pale ale features some of New Zealand's most prized hop varieties. Fermented with an iconic California ale yeast known for its clean, clear, and crisp neutral profile. A soft malt backbone of malted barley and wheat sits behind a bouquet of Nelson Sauvin, Riwaka, and Yeti dry hops. This beer hits the glass bursting with passion fruit, gooseberry, and white wine grapes. Independently crafted and brewed in Canada, Silversmith Brewing, 75 Horner Ave, Etobicoke, Ontario. And there's a little hashtag, somebody loves you. That's cool. Makes you feel a little better about yourself. You drinking a pale ale by yourself in a beer shed like a lonely nerd, someone still loves you. It's okay. I don't remember who gave me this. I think it might have been Chris from Off the 10th. I remember when they came back, somebody had given me one of these and said, I think they were releasing it the Wednesday after we left, which would have been, I guess, the 17th of July. And now we're at, what's the 30th or something? 30th, something like that. So it's been out for about 2 weeks, and I guess there's not a ton of check-ins. Now, I will say this. I'm thrilled to see a pale ale instead of just an IPA. There was a time, I know a lot of people might forget this, when pale ales existed. Not everything had to be an IPA or a double, triple, quadruple IPA. Some people just made pale ales, and they were happy with that, and they tasted good. So I'm hoping this fits that profile. Now, as to the color, I got my SRM chart here. Very light. It's like a pale straw-ish, goldish straw-ish color. Maybe a 5. No, 5's probably being too generous. Maybe a 4. Pretty cloudy. Can't really see through it. I see a ton of fine bubbles. I don't think they'll show up on the camera because it's a bit hazy and cloudy in there. But this is, I mean, my God. I wish I bought out another phone with me. This is like champagne bubbles. It's just tons and tons and tons of tiny bubbles. Looks really good. As to the head, one finger, white. It looks smooth. It almost looks like the head you get on a nitro beer. And the smell I can pick up from back here, very fruity. Sweet fruits. Now, I will say this. What did it say on the can? It said passion fruit. I don't really eat passion fruit, but I'm aware it's kind of a very cloyingly sweet fruit. Gooseberry. Can't say I've had a gooseberry in my lifetime, although I probably had something gooseberry flavored at some point. So I have no frame of reference for that. And white wine grapes. Now, I will say this. I am not a wine drinker. I also don't like grapes. And I think those the Nelson Sauvin grapes, I believe those are Nelson Sauvin, I believe, is the grape tasting hop, which I'm not a huge fan of, but we'll give it a shot. The nose, like I said, it's got a nice big fruity bouquet. I mean, it smells good. If you're into these kind of like fruitier pale ales and IPAs, the nose is definitely there. It's inviting. It smells good. Now, let's give it a shot. It's enough sniffing it. Let's go. Ooh, this is smooth. This, I don't know why. To me, it tastes like a, I suppose you could do nitro any style of beer. I'm used to seeing stouts mostly. This almost has a nitro feel to it. This thing is smooth as can be. Maybe that's what those really fine bubbles are doing, was kind of adding to it. But this thing is custardy smooth. Flavors, you definitely got some fruitiness going on, but I will say this, it's like a slightly tart fruitiness. It's not just overpoweringly sweet. When I saw passion fruit and that other stuff, I thought, uh-oh, run for the hills, TK. Big sweet beers, other than stouts, are not my thing. This here is not overly sweet. Again, maybe the gooseberry is maybe a little more sour, dials it down. You definitely get some nice fruitiness. You get a little bit of sweetness, but it is counterbalanced nicely by bitterness, and I think they've done a masterful job with that. It's sweet, but then you also get a little bit of funkiness. You also get a little bit of bitterness. They work well together. As far as the fruits, I don't know that I'd say I pick up passion fruit per se, because that would be overpoweringly sweet in my mind. This is kind of more dialed back. You get like a mix of fruity sweetness, and then kind of the other flavors to counterbalance it. Now, I'm trying to think, did it say anything else here we should be looking for? Soft malt backbone. I would agree with that. And I will say this, one thing I do like about the maltiness in this, I'm a barley fan. I know not everybody is, but I kind of like barley and rye, the flavors in beer, because I think they tend to cut some of the sweetness that you get in some of the other flavors. And again, it depends what kind of beer you're drinking. I mean, I like things like rye pale ales. You don't see them too frequently, but when they do, I kind of dig them. And this gives me the same kind of vibe with that. So you definitely get the sweetiness, you get the sweetness, you get the hops, all these other things going on in there. But you do also pick up a bit of that backbone, which I think is more like it is that barley or rye kind of taste, as opposed to, I know it said wheat, but to me wheat is usually sweeter. This is less. So maybe this is the barley more. And I think that again, counterbalances that. Whatever they're doing here, it works. Again, pale ales, I dig. I mean, I remember back in the day when Sierra Nevada came out with, well, I don't remember that because I wasn't not that old, but when I started drinking Sierra Nevada pale ale, I still view that as probably the marker for me. Sierra Nevada is the OGs. They were the first people to kind of make pale ales and things like that more popular and bring them into the mainstream. And for me, this matches up very favorably against something like a Sierra Nevada pale ale. Now, I'll say this is probably a bit fruitier, a little bit sweeter, a little bit fruitier than that, but it's in that same vein. This is not supposed to be an IPA. It's not over the top with the dankness, the hoppiness. It's just a nice balance of fruitiness and hoppiness, and I'm thrilled to see it. Now, I will say this is the second beer I've done from them. The other day we did the mixed review. I think it was me, Mallory, and Anderson did that coconut banana split IPA, and that thing didn't work. Now, I will say this, the other two had tried it at the brewery and said they loved it there, but in the can it sucked. This is solid in the can. Now, obviously I haven't tried it at the brewery, but this hits. I don't know if the other can, maybe it was old, or maybe something just didn't translate in the canning process. This is really good. I think they knocked that out of the park with this, and if this is a 12th anniversary beer, this is worthy of an anniversary beer. It's really good. Now, the fact that the other OGs there liked it, Rod and the Beer Patrol and the Yeti, just proves my taste buds aren't completely dead. I'm not completely averse to drinking pale ales and IPAs, and I actually really enjoy this one. So I'm thrilled to be able to try it. Chris, if it was you who gave it to me, I greatly appreciate it. If it was someone else, thank you to whoever gave it to me. Thrilled to be able to try it. Really good beer. Big thumbs up for me. Hopefully you liked the video. Give me a thumbs up. Hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit subscribe. And as always, got any comments or questions, jump in down below. Have you tried this? Probably not yet, as there's only 9 check-ins. And until next time, cheers.